Hi, my name's Ross Miho,
I'm Daniel Ortiz.
and you are watching Studio B Untitled. Today we're going to be talking about prom, which just happened on Friday the 13th. Very wacky day for prom, but that's when we had it. It was themed as, do you remember what the theme was?
It was ancient royalty.
It was ancient royalty, yeah. It was pretty fun. It was my first dance. Was it yours as well?
My first dance, probably my last high school. Yes.
Yeah. So a little bit different for me. This was my junior prom, I guess you could say. This was his senior prom.
Yeah.
The only real difference between the two is that our school is very, very small, so we combined the two proms together. And personally, I really liked having the upperclassmen with the juniors, and I'm really curious to find out how you felt about going to your final prom
With some juniors there?
some underclassmen there. Yeah.
Well, personally, I'm friends with a lot of juniors, so I may be a little biased there. But I didn't notice it. I just noticed you and Claire and and a few other juniors. And Kalia. I guess there were a few, but most of the majority were seniors.
So no, you didn't have any problems with having underclassmen at your senior prom?
No, I'm totally cool. I mean, I'm pretty sure they interact with each other anyways.
Yeah.
But like you said, it was a pretty small school.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I mean, actually, I preferred to see you there. I think it was part of like breaking me into a more comfortable environment.
Yeah.
But before we go more into that, maybe we should describe a little bit more about what was it like, the build up before prom. And
Yeah.
what
Okay.
was it
Yeah.
actually like.
For sure.
Yeah. So, what was your build up like?
So my build up, like I said, this was my first dance, so I was very, very nervous about planning, I guess you could say. It seemed very, very stressful when I was thinking about it, just in general. But as prom came closer and closer, I didn't have a date. So there's this girl that I like, so I asked her out to dinner. So we had dinner at my place, and then we got some ice cream, and then we went to the Bluffs. Do you know where the Bluffs are?
No, is they toward Multnomah Falls?
No.
It's opposite direction.
So we're at Jefferson right over here. So if you go over to Mississippi,
Yeah.
you cross the bridge and you're over in the Overlook area, interstate.
Downtown?
No. So interstate.
South.
Yeah, north, over by Prescott.
Yeah. I
Okay, yeah. So right on the edge of the Overlook community, there's this hang-off over the cliff. There's a park right there. So it's a tiny little park, but it overlooks downtown.
Yeah.
And below it is all the train tracks, and then there's the water in front of it. So it's just very, not too many people know about it. But as Portland's growing, more and more people know about it. So we went out there, and I asked her at the Bluffs when we were watching the sunset. Said yes.
Nice.
It's pretty sweet.
Well,
pretty sweet.
That's the way to do it.
Uh-huh.
Set it up well, and maybe she'll say yes. Cool.
Exactly, yeah. So I got my date, and then we kind of set plans. We made sure that we were going to go as a group with some of her friends, and then we.
How do you feel about that, going with her friends? Did you know them well?
Yeah. I mean, I know them well. It definitely made me feel a little bit more comfortable going, because I have friends there, and it's not just it's not just my date.
So you already knew them, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
So I already knew them. It's a close group of friends, I guess you could say. It was fun. It was nice knowing that I was going to be going with a group of friends, and we ended up all having dinner together. We all ended up driving over there together. So, yeah, that was my build-up. What was your build-up like?
Well, as a senior, everybody's expected to go to prom. So it's kind of like just, I always thought I'd go to prom, but it stayed off my mind for the longest time. And it was like, next thing I knew, prom was in 2 weeks, and, I hadn't planned anything. And then next thing I knew, prom was this week. No. At the end of the week before the week of prom, I was like, oh crap, I needed to actually do some logistical things. Like, I need to go find a suit, make sure it's nice. And at that point I was like, oh, I don't have a date either. This kind of sucks. So it was actually the day before prom. I was considering, like, I don't have to go to prom. I could probably invite somebody who's not going to prom, and we could just have dinner together as friends. And I thought, like, that'd be pretty viable.
Yeah.
So then I started messaging this one person, like, hey, dude, what are you doing at that night? And he's like, oh, partying with my peers. I was like, oh, sure, cool.
Yeah.
And then I didn't reply. I was like, well, I should probably just go to prom. That'd
Yeah.
be cool. But then, at that night, so I remember at that night I was thinking, like, I was still considering, do I go to prom or do I not? A lot of things were going through my head, like, kind of like the meaning of prom. And also before, I used to think that, prom was only for significant others, but then it was like, well, you know what, you can prom with friends. And that's actually a bit more of a normal thing, it seems.
Yeah.
So at that night before prom night, I was thinking, like, I'm going to prom. I figured I'd go to prom, and I was like, I'll figure it out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was basically like, the reason I thought about going to prom in the first place at the end is like, I've been in a lot of different situations, situations that are much more difficult, where I had to make choices that are more difficult. I had to perform at a more difficult level, like with robotics or whenever I'm presenting at PSU. And I figured prom, I can get this done.
Yeah.
Just consider it a mission. So then I was like, I'll figure it out tomorrow. I know I will. I always have. Mm-hmm. So then that morning came and I was like, I'll figure it out third and fourth period. That's when I have senior inquiry.
Okay,
because
there you
first
go.
and second period, I'm doing homework. Third and fourth, I'll figure it out. So then first and second period, I was working like hell, hauling ass with some homework that's due like very soon. Mm-hmm. And in third and fourth period, we were like in a radio club, so it's senior inquiry, but some of us go to a radio club where we talk about how to make radio. And in that day, it was kind of an optional day to come. Mm-hmm. So we were actually talking about prom that day.
Nice.
So then we started like having the conversation. I described my situation where I didn't have a prom date. I was thinking about not going to prom, but at the same time, it's just like, and also I've never been to a dance like you. Mm-hmm. So then, at the end, it was kind of like, they gave me the impression, some of the Mr. Coffee and, some of the other students in there gave me the impression that just like, if I went there, it would be, I would be included into whatever group is there because I know my peers very well as seniors.
Yeah.
And pretty well as juniors too. But, at that time I was thinking like, I'll figure it out when I get there. Mm-hmm. So like, and then also they gave me the impression, and also I made a decision then that I wasn't going to go with anybody because it seemed appropriate. So like the day before prom, I was thinking about just going there as a photographer.
Yeah.
Because I was like, whoa, that's in my capacity. I would go there to prom. Technically, I'd be going to prom.
And you were there as a photographer as well, though, right?
I was,
Yeah.
yes. But I was thinking about doing that the whole time.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because that's what I do. I do video and pictures, and that's what everybody expects from me. Mm-hmm. And I kind of figured that's the way that's my identity, kind of. I'm the videographer kind of guy. But when I was in senior inquiry or the radio club, they were saying like, oh, you could go alone, or you can go with because it was pretty much too late to ask anybody. If I asked anybody, it'd basically be like taking advantage of them.
Yeah.
At that point, it's like, oh, hey, last minute, do you want to go to prom? It's like, I'm not here like to be used. So that's my decision. Like I wasn't going to ask anybody. Mm-hmm. So then I went alone and that seemed kind of appropriate too, since I'm a pretty independent person.
Yeah.
So then I went to prom. I went to take a nap because I was really tired from doing homework that last night. Mm-hmm. So then, once the time was up, I was really like thinking about like, in a few hours, I'm about to embark on this very difficult thing. It's almost like that moment before you got to make an important speech.
Yeah.
It's coming up, and if you take a nap, it's like you almost wish you don't want to wake up because it's like you don't want that time to come. But at the same time, I was excited. So I don't know like what came over me. I was just like, whenever I'm in extreme stress, I focus. Mm-hmm. So it's like I wasn't freaking out or anything. I was just like, this is what I need to do this, to get this thing done. Mm-hmm. Got showered, took the bus, put on my suit before I took the bus to downtown. Then I went there and I was there so that it's like, without a prom day. And plus, I've never danced before. Mm-hmm. So, and this is a dance.
Yeah.
So, like, I was there and I was like, well, I'm going to get this done. I'll try to have fun. That was my main objective. Yeah. So the first part of prom, just to make it short, the first part of prom was I was doing some photography stuff, and that was pretty fun. Mm-hmm. And it kind of helped me break into like the cool vibe of everything. And I was taking pictures and doing what I do, not best, but doing what I do. And after that, one of my friends invited me to go dance with her, and I felt like, after I started dancing with her, I was like realizing this would have been very difficult if she didn't ask me.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to like dance and you're not dancing with anybody on a dance floor. So, she invited me to dance, and then like at first I was like, I knew I feel uncomfortable, but I was like, this needs to happen, and I'm gonna go do it.
Mm-hmm.
So then I went to dance with her, and it was kind of really hard to get warmed up into dancing from never dancing before in my life.
Yeah.
So it's like, I was just like there, and then beforehand, I've never danced like at a dance. And the only dance I've ever had is like a PCC class I've taken on tap dancing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I can do the moonwalk. I can do like that thing in place that they used to do in 2011, the shuffling.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I can do that pretty well. It's not. I mean, I just do it for fun. I don't do it to dance. And I've done moonwalk for a while. So then I had like those major three things. Plus maybe I've seen a few dancers in my life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. But I can't do anything that the Jefferson dancers could do.
Yeah.
So I had those three things. I knew what I had. I knew what I had to do. So then I did it. I started dancing, and as time warmed up, it was nice. And it's the thing that really I think broke Claire is, so I was there in that position where I was dancing with my friend. It was kind of like, oh, that's nice. I got a foot in. But then it wasn't until like another friend was like, being friendly there. It's like, yeah, it's like dancing again. Mm-hmm. And then that's when I noticed, like, I'm just amongst peers. This is probably one of the best, places to dance.
Yeah, which is really interesting because when I got there with my date, I didn't want to dance.
Really?
Like we were in the dance floor, but I didn't want to dance because I also have never danced before.
Yeah.
I don't even dance on my own. Like, I don't know what it is. I just listen to music. So I was very nervous to dance because I was like, I don't want to look stupid. I don't want to mess up.
Yeah.
My date's in front of me. I don't want to look like I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But then after a couple dances, I saw Fiona dancing on her own, and then I was like, wow, that's really cool. She doesn't even care what anybody's thinking. She's dancing over there by herself. And then I saw you with her dancing, and I was like, wow, that is really cool. They're just dancing. Like, there's people over here who are trying to dance, and then there's Daniel and Fiona who are just dancing for the heck of it to have fun. And I think that's what made me dance, because I was looking at Claire, and she was kind of just standing around. She was dancing with her friends, but I was just standing there.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, you know what? If Daniel can have a good time, then so can I.
I didn't even notice. I thought like you were dancing the whole time with
No,
Claire. Like
no.
you were with Claire, you had your prom date already set up, you guys were dancing, you guys were already set.
No, she was dancing. She was dancing with a couple other people, and I was kind of just standing there, like nodding my head back and forth, really awkwardly. And then I saw you two, and in my head, excuse my language, I was just like, fuck it. I was like,
do it.
It's prom. I have a date, and there's a couple hours of this. I can't just stand around
for hours
because I feel like I'm gonna look stupid. Like, that mentality is stupid. Thinking that I can't even get something done before I even try it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just, a light went off when I saw you two dancing, which made me think to myself, if I don't try,
that's the part that looks
stupid. The worst, like the coolest thing in the world is somebody who cares, and who does what they want, not because of other people, but because of what they want themselves. And I didn't want to be one of those people who wants to be cool to look cool for other people. I really just want to have fun on my own, and watching you two dance really made me want to start dancing. And then I noticed that since I started dancing and I was dancing around you, other people in my group that weren't dancing started dancing too.
That's what it is at prom. It's like once you start seeing your peers dance, and you're somebody who's totally not ever, I was never interested in going to a dance before. I guess in dance I was interested, but not like super interested. But the mentality that I went into with it was like, there's two things that I always go into when I go into these kind of situations. One, no one can judge you if you're the first one, if this is your first time. Mm-hmm. They're wrong if you're saying you suck at dancing. No shit, right? Pardon my French too. No shit, you're bad at dancing because this is your first time.
Yeah, exactly.
When it was their first time, they may not have been very good. And my second mentality thing is, this is one of a newer thing, maybe from like last year, is that just because it's your first time doesn't mean you can suck. You have to suck though.
Yeah.
So like you can naturally be good at it. I felt like I didn't totally suck because I had some sort of base knowledge.
Yeah.
I've done a little bit of tap. I guess I pay a lot of attention to music and visually, like, but also I can probably translate that into body movement as well. And maybe I didn't do the best job, but I definitely felt good about myself because I felt like it wasn't just me going like this.
Yeah.
I was doing some tap. I was doing whatever I could. We were doing some waltzes. I knew a little bit of a waltz, and it just all those skills you have to consider. And just because it's your first time doesn't mean you have to suck. But at the same time, if anybody says anything bad toward you, it's your first time.
Yeah.
So, I didn't. I thought you were dancing the whole time, and then I was like, oh, Ross is dancing. It's like, oh, time to kick it up.
Yeah, it's interesting how stuff like that happens. But I'm glad that I had friends who were at prom, even if we weren't even in the same group.
Yeah.
Just looking around the room and seeing that I wasn't the only one who didn't know what they were doing. And I'm not saying that all of my friends didn't know how to dance. I'm just saying that there were people in the room who weren't on JDs.
But there were a lot that were, right?
There were a lot.
Even your prom date was from JD, and how do you feel about that?
It was a little intimidating.
She's like...
Just because, like I said, like, I don't know how to dance, and my partner is somebody who...
Went to France.
Who dances...
Went to Pittsburgh for dancing.
All the time.
Yeah.
Like, her life is dance. But I also realized while we were there that type of dance is different from prom dance.
Right.
And it's all about having fun.
Yeah.
I realized that. Nobody at prom is dancing to impress somebody else.
Right.
They're just dancing to have fun. Like, it's a night to have fun.
Yeah.
Which I really, really enjoyed. I enjoyed prom.
Yeah.
How about you?
It was fun. Like, like we got into this. We were dancing with both of our partners, I suppose, and like we started shoving into each other.
Just having fun with it.
All of a sudden we noticed like we bumping into each other. Like, oh, you know what? Let's try that again. And we're just like bumping with each other.
Yeah.
And then like I noticed that you were trying to like bump into me when I was trying to like get away from it. But it was like that was really fun. I mean,
yeah.
It's really dynamic, and you have to be really adaptable to really like enjoy the most of the moment. It was really good.
Yeah.
And it's weird though. So like I enjoyed it the night of. I went home. Oh, actually, we should probably finish off with it. So what did you do after prom?
After prom, Claire and I we split off from the group, and we went to this place called Roxy's, which is...
Everybody went to Roxy's.
Really?
Some ice cream, yeah.
No. Okay, so...
Not Roxy's.
So Roxy's is a 24-hour diner.
Yeah.
And it was actually really interesting. It's really close to wherever prom was at. I can't even remember what it was called.
West End.
Yeah, the West End. So it was actually a really cool place. So it's a 24-hour diner, and it was started with the premise so that people could sober up after they drink. They could go in there, and you could stay as long as you needed to sober up before you drive home or need to get home. So it's open 24 hours mainly because in the first half of the day they do AA meetings there. So it's a safe place for anybody who comes in.
Did that kind of atmosphere affect like your time there?
It was just very relaxed. Because we were the only two people who came from prom, and we didn't drink or anything. So we just went in there for Italian sodas because they make some pretty decent Italian sodas.
Never had one, but yeah.
Yeah. So it was a very interesting place. I don't know. It was very quirky, I don't know. It was nice. It was nice to have an Italian soda there.
Right after prom.
Yeah, pink walls, lots of neon signs. It's very grungy. There's like a Jesus hanging.
I think I've seen it
on the wall.
The nice soda shop. They call it a soda shop. Right?
A soda shop. Kinda. Yeah. It's pretty cool. I like it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I didn't have any post prom plans. Partly because I didn't plan. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I guess I could have technically gone with somebody after prom, but I don't know. It's like I guess part of me doesn't like to go uninvited, so I wouldn't want to just be like, "Hey, can I come with you guys?" Mm-hmm. It's more of like, like I might like wait around until somebody invites me.
Yeah.
But I don't think that was the reason for that night.
Yeah.
Maybe another night. But I don't know. I guess I just kind of wanted to go home.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, it was late. I knew I had shit to do.
That's understandable. I also wanted to go. I was tired.
Yeah. I wasn't that tired. I was just like, I wanted to move on to the next thing. That's really, that's with me for a lot of things. Like, you know, something happens and it's like, okay, time to move on to the next thing. Or I get awarded with something, it's like, oh, time to move on to the next thing. Like, I enjoyed prom though. But it, like, you know, I went to my house to tell my family about it, because usually I don't tell them about anything. But and that's actually,
that's understandable. Yeah, no, a lot of teenagers don't tell their parents a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, but I'm trying to now, because
Yeah.
like, I understand the kind of detriment it causes if I don't speak about my life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it causes trouble to my brother and my sister.
Yeah, people wonder about you.
Yeah.
People wonder about your life.
They also learn from you too. So like, my sister, she actually was thinking about going to prom when she's a senior.
Mm-hmm.
So my sister's like, was pretty shy, but I guess like, as I was talking to her about other things, she gets less shy. And I haven't been very communicative with my mother and my family that I live at home.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I had a duty to tell them about how it went. So then, one, you know, they'll feel nice that I had a good time, and two, they learn a little bit. So then when my sister comes to prom, my mom can be less worried about what can go around there.
Yeah, and also maybe it'll help her decide on whether or not she wants to go to prom.
Right, yeah.
Because hearing your experience, she might be like, oh, maybe prom isn't that intimidating. Maybe
Yeah.
I can go.
And this is like a story that happens to everybody. You know, they don't want to go to prom, and then they end up having a good time. And a lot of people, especially me, I didn't feel this way. Like, just because they did it doesn't mean that I can do it. But I guess the thinking behind, like, just because if I can do it, you can do it. Well, it's because somebody's in a tougher situation. Somebody can't, like, just turn around as easily as you can. So I really think that, I don't think anybody can do it, but I think a lot of people can do it if they wanted to. No, I think everybody can do it. If they wanted to, they can do it.
Mm-hmm.
And even if they have a trouble time and they still wanted to do it, their whole mentality of how it went is different too.
Yeah.
So, prom was fun. You know, come Monday, I was thinking, like, it was cool. Right after the day of prom, I was sleeping in, and I had an alarm clock, and I had an event to go to. So I took the prom suit.
There you go.
I took the prom suit. I washed my shirt. I changed the tie, because apparently my prom tie was terrible. It smelled off. I think it might have been like the moisture getting onto the silk or something. It was terrible. But I took a different tie, and I went to that event. And then I was like, well, it's nice here too. You know, it's nice to walk around in a suit. I think I was best dressed that day.
Yeah, that's also another cool part about prom is,
You get to have, like...
yeah, we were in the city, so like walking out of Roxy's,
Dressed
freaking
nice.
dressed in a 3-piece suit, and my date had her dress on and heels on. Just felt fancy.
Looked fine.
Felt very classy.
Yeah.
Very classy.
So, like, also that felt that way coming to prom. Like, I was on the bus. Sure, I was on the bus. But
Yeah.
you know what?
That's Portland. We live in the city.
You don't need a car in Portland.
No, you don't.
Besides, he's my chauffeur.
Yeah.
Always reliable, always comes on time.
Yep.
Anyways, I was
I
there.
don't know about on time, but yeah.
Yeah, sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. But you know, you're there and you're dressed really nice. People around you are looking at you on the bus and shit like, yeah. Although it can get awkward, because I remember like last year when maybe Miss Wright told you, I bought like flowers for like
All the dancers, yeah.
yeah, and I also bought a lot of flowers too for people in general during Valentine's Day. And if sometimes, I guess it's kind of awkward when you're in that situation, because I'm holding like a ton of flowers on the bus, and it's like, this is not for one person that's special. This is just for a good amount of people that are important.
Yeah.
But this time it was kind of like, it actually represented what was happening. I had a suit on because I was going to prom. If somebody saw me, if I saw somebody with a suit, I would think they're going to prom. It's like, yes, I'm actually going to prom this time.
Yeah.
Instead of me going to like some sort of event. So when I was at the event, it was kind of like, this is a nice prom suit. I'm going to wear this on Monday. But then I texted you. I was like, hey, are you going to wear your suit on Monday?
Yeah, my parents wouldn't let me.
Yeah, and I kind of figured I didn't want to show them up. You know, it's my suit.
Yeah, his suit was way nicer than
No. Yours had a bow tie and you had polka dots on it, matching piece. You know, I mean, this is my second suit I've ever had, so I actually went like, I got exactly what I wanted, which is like something that never happens.
Yeah.
Where my parents buy something, but I felt really comfortable wearing that. Plus, suits feel comfortable in general.
Yeah.
So that I guess kind of helped to kind of elevate your position into whether going to prom or not. Mhm. So, we're going to wrap this up soon, but one last thing. Would you regret going to prom?
Do I regret going to prom?
I mean, like, if you didn't go, would you regret it?
Yes, I would have regretted it. I wouldn't have known what would have happened if I didn't go to prom. However, knowing what happened at prom, as like all the fun that I had at prom with all of my friends, not having that experience would have sucked, I think. I really had a lot of fun at prom, and it's probably an experience that I will hold on to for a very, very long time. There's another prom after this. I have a senior prom after this, so I still have one more dance. But being able to go to this dance, I know that I will be more comfortable at senior prom, like getting out on the dance floor. Like I spent an easy 30 minutes standing around, not doing anything. And I know for a fact that when senior prom comes around, I'm not just going to stand around and feel awkward the entire time because I've had some experience now, even if it is one dance. One dance is more than 0 dances that I had before this dance.
It's 100% more.
That's 100% more. So, yeah, no, I definitely would have regretted not going. How about you?
Well, I didn't have the hype to build me up to it and then experience it. It was more of like, on off, I'm going all of a sudden. So then it was like, again, like I've had tough times and I've succeeded. But, prom felt like it was nice to be there in that kind of context, to be dressed well with a crowd that knows you, where you try something new and you're proud of yourself after doing it. But, those situations come and go. I expect to have another situation like that, even if it doesn't involve dance.
But it's not going to be prom. That's the thing.
Right, but that's like the hype there too, because it's like it's all about prom. Prom is like prom is the only thing that's like prom. But like I enjoyed it. I didn't have a hype to build up to it, so our maybe you did, and we have different thoughts about it. Yeah. So, in terms of would I have regretted not going? I think I wouldn't have regretted it because. Okay. The thing about going to prom is like, if you're firm with whatever you believe in and you don't go and you're firm with that, I think that's really good. But as long as you're firm. Yeah. If you really want to go to prom, knowing you're gonna have a lot of fun and you're firm with that, then that's really good too. So the thing that helped me make a decision is that I talked to my peers, talked to my mentors about it, and once you talk to other people. It's kind of like almost like a therapy session. Yeah. It's really, and it's something I learned in high school. Is like it's important to talk about your what you're feeling and talk about what you're thinking, and it's also important to hear other people talk. Yeah. So, once I was able to actually flesh out like why I wouldn't go to prom, why I would go to prom, what I would want from it, I made a decision to go to prom, and I would I would probably regret it not going. But if I made the decision in the past that like, maybe I don't want to go, I would have been proud of that. Yeah. So, if you're ever, thinking about going to prom or not going to prom, it's really important to, like, talk it out with somebody, and mostly to talk it out and hear it yourself. Because when you're talking about that, you listen to yourself, like, and you make your list, like, why I would go to prom, why I wouldn't, and then you make your decision based on that. Yeah. In the end, do whatever makes you happy. If you don't want to go to prom, don't go to prom. Don't let people pressure you to go to prom. But if you even have the slightest thought about going to prom, I say go for it. Because it's better to go and say you didn't like it than to not go and wonder if you would have liked it or not liked it. Yeah. So, yeah. Somebody also said, like, it's harder to not go to prom than to go to prom. Yeah. Because when you're dealing, it's like, oh, you didn't go to prom? You missed all this. Or I think it was pretty easy, at least for guys. So we're pretty privileged in that part. Yeah, we just need a suit. We just need to bring the suit. We don't really do any planning. Not a lot of planning and not a lot of buying dresses and getting really nice. It took me like a 30-minute shower and like an hour or two shopping for a suit that I thought was perfect. Yeah. And some of the other girls I talked to, like, they took all day. Yeah, and then they had to get their makeup done, their hair done, nails, everything, which is impressive. I don't know if I would have had the patience to do
do all of that. So.
With such a variety,
Shout out to girls.
with such a variety of suits,
Women.
yes.
Yeah, shout out to all the women out there.
When with such a variety of suits, I mean not suits, prom dresses, like endless, pretty much whatever you wanted in suits. That would have taken forever if I had to do that. If I had to pick out a prom dress, it's like it'd be insane. But for suits, it's kind of like, all right, do you want a suit or tuxedo?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you want a dark color or black? I mean, do you want a light color or black? Do you want color, etc.? It's not that tough.
Yeah, it's not
So,
that tough.
you know, for us it was easy.
Yeah, it was fun.
All
It was
right.
very fun. So that pretty much wraps it all up. My name is Ross Miho,
My name is Daniel Ortiz Rojo.
and this is Untitled, signing out.
Signing off. Thank you. Best show ever. Best episode ever.